Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dreadlocks. I'm Gunther the Great. Today we're going to be looking at the one and only Dax. We're going to be looking at his dreadlocks today, and he has some really interesting freeform dreadlocks. Not only does he have freeform dreadlocks, but he also has a high top fade with those dreads. So with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and look at him and then be able to see how he got his dreadlocks and talk about literally everything about his dreads. And the easiest way to start out is with the hair type. Now his hair type, and I know a lot of you are like, yo, why does everyone have like a 4B or 4C hair type? And a lot of people that I review have that hair type, and the reason being is because that hair type is a lot easier to get dreadlocks with that hair type. Or in other words, a lot of people with that hair type have dreadlocks because it is more of a hairstyle worn by those hair types. We don't see a lot of people with, you know, 3s or 2s or even 1 with the dreadlock hairstyle with any of those hair types. You just mostly see people with the 4 hair type with dreadlocks because their hair is more of a tighter curl pattern and their hair locks up a whole lot better than anybody that has a lesser curl pattern. So hopefully that brings some clarity to you guys that always ask, why does it always seem that there's always 4Cs or 4Bs? And that's usually the reason, because that's typically who has dreadlocks. Now it's not to say that people with straight hair or wavy hair don't have dreadlocks, because I've reviewed those people as well, and you can definitely tell the difference. Now a quick way to tell the difference is that people with a tighter curl pattern, their hair usually doesn't have hardly any frizz. Now people with looser curls or straight hair, the hair will tend to be a little bit more frizzy and be a little more loose at the roots and even loose at the tips. So that's an easy way to tell. Now to tell your own hair type, go ahead and click the link down below that says what is my hair type, and it'll be able to tell you everything you need to know about your own hair, and it also helps you on what method to choose in order to get dreadlocks with your specific hair type. Now let's get back to Dax's dreadlocks. Now he has some really awesome freeform dreadlocks, and I think it actually suits him well, especially with the high top fade. Then we did recently see him do the red and blue hair dye, and this kind of gives us a throwback to almost Lil Uzi Vert when he had his hair with that hair color. And honestly, I think it goes very well. I almost feel like it's almost like Lil Pump's when he had the green and then the red. It almost has that same kind of feel. But obviously Dax does have freeform dreadlocks. And one thing that I want you guys to notice, that I've noticed, is it doesn't seem like his hair is growing. Now one thing to know about like the 4C or the 4B hair type is that it never seems like it grows as fast as straighter hair, just because, think about it, the hair is growing at a curl, so it's coming out curling, and then straighter hair just comes straight out and it shows its actual length. That's why when you see people with very coarse hair, they pull their hair out and it shows that their hair is actually very long versus it already hanging down because it has a curl to it. So that's the case here, especially with dreadlocks. If you have a very tight curl pattern and your hair is growing out and you have dreadlocks, it's just going to be kind of clumping into the dread, and then over time it'll show that it is really long. Now in this case it's different because he does have freeform dreadlocks. If you were to have twisted with gel dreadlocks, over time, I would say in about a year, your hair is going to start showing its true length, and it's going to seem like your hair is speeding up in growth. But in this case he does have freeforms, so essentially when his hair is growing out, it's just clumping up on top. And obviously it's going to still show the growth, but it's not going to see him as quick as if you were to have maintained dreadlocks. But one thing I really like about his dreads is that they're all about the same size as far as the width, and I feel like they're all very dense and they all have about the same density. So that's really cool to be able to see that he has freeform dreadlocks and they're all about the same length. That's one thing that you hardly see with freeform dreadlocks. I think it's really cool to see his hair now because it is actually getting a lot of length, and the cool thing about it is that his hair is still standing up. And that's one stage I remember in my first set of dreadlocks, is when my hair would stand up. I really missed that stage because it just seemed really cool. I liked how it showed more character, and it just, overall in my opinion, I think it looks better when it stands up, especially if you're going for a freeform look. There is some more distinct shapes and sizes with his dreadlocks because a lot of them are actually starting to combine. And this is a no-brainer when it comes to freeform dreadlocks. Freeform dreads always want to combine with each other. So any small or skinny dreadlocks that you have are going to always gravitate to a bigger dreadlock. It's kind of like a gravity pull. If you have a thick dreadlock, gravity or that dreadlock is going to constantly be pulling any skinny dreadlocks towards it. So if you constantly are getting thicker dreadlocks from all these skinny dreads getting pulled towards it, especially with freeform dreadlocks, not with any other ones because you're maintaining them, but with freeform locks, if you have that thicker dreadlock, it's going to pull a bunch of skinny ones towards it unless you maintain it and separate. That's why we've seen people like Lucas Abat, we've seen people like Bob Marley, The Weeknd, all these people that had somewhat of more of a skinnier dreadlock in the beginning, and then overall their dreadlocks turned out really thick. It's because of that whole gravity pull, or in other words, a thick dreadlock pulling in skinny dreadlocks. But guys, in my opinion, I think Dax has some really cool dreadlocks, and I'm really excited to see where they go from here. And I feel like he's gonna keep on growing it. And in my opinion, I think it's probably just gonna be one really thick dreadlocks, and it's gonna be interesting to see if he keeps that. Because already right now, all of his dreadlocks are actually combined at the base, and that will keep growing out that way. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here in a couple years. But guys, I want to hear your guys' comments down below what you think about Dax's dreadlocks. Also comment down below who you would like to see next. And please don't forget to go follow DREADLOCKS on Instagram, because if you follow us and tag us, you can be featured on the page and even on the channel and possibly on the website, which leads me onto the website. DREADLOCKS.com has everything you need for your dreadlocks. If you have freeform dreadlocks, you can use some of the products on there. All right, guys, I have this shampoo that's featured on DREADLOCKS.com. Make sure to go check it out. This is honestly the best shampoo to use for your dreadlocks. It removes buildup, and it doesn't create any buildup whatsoever, and it washes out very easy. And that's one thing that you need to look for in buying a shampoo. So I'm linking one right down below, and that is a product for the day, and you can find it on DREADLOCKS.com, and you can find a lot of other products on there as well. If you want a dread sponge, if you want a crochet needle, if you want a latch hook, if you want an interlocking tool, if you want any of those things, make sure to go to DREADLOCKS.com and pick it up from there and support your brother. Also, you're probably looking at my hat. We still do got great merch out, so make sure to go check that out as well if you would like. But on that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.